Hey everyone, and what's up? I'm Enzo, your host here, and today we're going to be reviewing the film Return of the Living Dead, made in 1985, as you can imagine, and as the title implies, it is about the return of the living dead. Okay, it's a zombie movie, a horror thriller comedy, which is pretty awesome. You know, you don't want to be too suspenseful throughout, too tensed up. The thriller, you like a little bit of comedy punk elements thrown in there, which this film does have. If you're a punk rock goth person, you'll be able to enjoy some of that. Now, before I go any of the fun stuff, I'm gonna have to go over all the boring stuff. So let's take a look at the film's production companies. It was produced by MGM, Hemdale, and Cinema 84. I don't really know those production companies too well. I don't know if they continue to produce works of any kind. Other people who have bankrolled the project include Tom Fox and Graham Henderson. Don't know any of those individuals too well. Wasn't able to put too much in-depth research, okay? I didn't want to bore you guys with random individuals who bankrolled it. The point is, you can look it up yourselves, all right? Now, I can talk about a little bit less boring a topic, the director. This guy, Dan O'Bannon, if I'm saying his name correctly, is a champion director. He's had a lengthy and successful career. Most notably, he wrote... He wrote the book that Alien was based off of, and even wrote the screenplay adaptation for it. So I know a lot of you out there who are innocently ignorant would probably assume, didn't Ridley Scott make that? Isn't he the one who made and pioneered Alien? No, it was this guy. How crazy is that, right? That's impressive as hell. I used to think it was just all that, but nope, it was this guy. And to think that this film itself is his directorial debut even blows my mind further. I know you guys are probably wondering, especially if you haven't seen the film, who cares? Whatever, it probably sucks. It's his first film. Dude, go ahead and watch it. Like, spoiler alert to this review already, it's a great movie. You're not going to waste a minute of your life watching it. It's definitely fun from beginning to end. It's just that, you know, it's not a cinematic masterpiece or like a thought-provoking funnel vision of like the human emotion and all that stuff. It's just a pretty fun, awesome zombie horror thriller movie with goth punk elements decorated throughout, and I really recommend you guys check it out. More on the director though. Okay, well, I don't have much more on the director, just that he was pretty much involved in film throughout his entire life. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he had a degree in psychology, and only shortly after getting that degree went right back to film and was, I think we're lucky enough to be graced with such a film classic, okay? It's a cult classic masterpiece. That's a great part of zombie cinema history. Moving on to the characters, I'm going to go ahead and list off each one, the actors that play them, their roles in the film, and then we'll go over the plot. So first up, we have Freddy. He's a goth punk rocker kid who loves one thing, to party. That's another awesome element you're going to see throughout the film, that all these kids just want to fuck around and party, and I think that's hilarious. It's accurate, right? These kids are bored out of their mind, waiting for their friend to get off of work, Freddy, so that they can find a party. Freddy's played by Thom Matthews. He gets a job at a medical warehouse. More on that later. Next up, we have Frank. He's played by James Karen, who's a co-worker at this medical warehouse. And then next up, we have Clu Gulager, who I believe passed away sometime around the recording of this video. He's a legend. Rest in peace. He plays Bert, the warehouse manager. Next up, we have Don Calfa, who plays the morgue operator named Ernie. Then we have Freddy's goth punk friends. You know, he's a few of them. One of them named Scuzz. They all have these cool, unique nickname like Armpit Stain or some crap like that. So we have Scuzz, played by Bran Peck. Lynn Quigley, who plays Trash, a notable character in the film, who likes to dance. We have Jewel Shepard, who plays Casey, a very, very nice lady. Beverly Randolph, who plays Tina, who is Freddy's love interest. She's very caring. Comedically enough, doesn't seem to fit in with the crew. They're all goth punk to the bone, and she's just like some nerdy girl. So I love seeing that, dude. I love seeing people just like zebras in I don't know, like a cheetah house. That was a horrible metaphor or whatever the hell, but you get what I'm saying, a simile of some kind. You get Miguel A. Nunes Jr., who plays Spider, a character I enjoy personally. And finally, we have Mark Venturi, who plays Suicide, to name a few. We have other side characters that are sprinkled throughout, but those are the 10 main characters we see and have the most amount of dialogue and who interact the most with the zombies and all the plot. And before I move on from the characters, I have to say each person did a great job of being believable. They were so so convincingly terrified of what was happening, having zombies come out throughout. I like how, I don't know if that was an editing or special effects choice or a makeup choice, and I think if I ever create a horror thriller film of some kind, I would make it so that the characters are sweating or constantly like covered in a wet, thin film of water, because you are sweating in a horribly stressful, scary situation, and in those situations, they still maintain a bit of comedic relief in their ability to trash talk one another. Like one person, let's say, steps on the other one's foot or makes them take a wrong turn, and so they shit on them, and it's just so hilarious when they just trash talk each other. It's so damn funny how they still maintain the ability to swear at one another when they're like, their main goal is a shared goal of survival, which is just something I just wanted to bring up because I think it's just so funny. It's what makes it so believable that these people can still maintain a sense of personality when being scared. They're not just one-dimensional characters who scream, ah, and then run to the next room. The next scene starts, and they repeat the same thing. All of them maintain their personalities throughout, which I love. That's in part their acting, and of course, the talented writing and directing by Dan O'Bannon. So now that I've gone over the characters, and I like their acting and believability, and that they're nice dialogue in between, I'm going to go over a very concise and simplistic, how should you say it, like plot. I don't want to spoil it. This is a spoiler review, just so you know. This movie's decades and decades old. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you do. If you want to watch it without any spoilers, go ahead and pause the film and take a look at it. Find it anywhere if you can. And moving on to the concise, simplistic way or summary of the plot. So the film follows the 10 people I just listed. It starts off with Freddy, the goth punk kid. He's not too goth, more punkish, and he gets a job at a medical warehouse because I think it might sound like an easy job for him. He doesn't seem to do a lot of heavy lifting or a lot of heavy thinking, so he's enjoying it. He's getting shown the ropes by his coworker, Frank, I mentioned earlier, played by forget his name, James Karen, if I'm not mistaken. And, he's getting shown the ropes, walking around. Everything seems very normal and calm, which is fantastic for how absurdly chaotic the film gets in the future, just in the near future. And it's pretty standard until Frank tells him a story about a popular zombie movie, and that the film isn't just a story. It's based off real events that actually happened, and that they're a part of that history, in the sense that the military actually sent the canisters containing the zombified corpses to the warehouse. It was a military screw-up, he says, and that they have them hidden deep down in the basement, not in the regular area of storage lockers. They have it deep down in the basement. And of course, Freddy is like mind blown. He's like, there's no way, bro. It's a movie. There's no way, dog. Like, come on, bro. You're capping. No freaking way. He offers to show it to him. He bounces off the table, runs with him. They go all the way down to the basement, and he tells him to mind the third step. It's a bitch. I think that it comes into play later. And these two knuckleheads are looking at this canister, and it's real. It's real. It's like 3 to 5 canisters in the bottom of the basement. They see that there's a glass opening that lets you see the zombie. So Freddy's mind is blown, as well as the audience. We're just like, this can't be real, right? It's insane. But it is. And this is where the humor to me really kickstarts, because I don't know why I find this damn hilarious. This is like a spoiler in terms of like a very specific piece of dialogue that happens in the film. So Freddy is wondering, like, man, like these cans, like they'll keep them in there, right? They won't leak or nothing. And then Frank, his character, is like, hell no, man. These are high quality engineering from the U.S. Army Engineer Corps. Bam! He slaps the tank to ensure that, and it immediately ruptures. Obviously, it's probably an old tank, but it's also making fun of the Army Corps of Engineers. Maybe they didn't do a good enough job, or it's just, just a silly way to have the film's like plot progress. And so he slaps the tank, the gas violently ruptures and leaks out, hitting them directly in the face and all around the upper parts of the room. And they get knocked out by this gas. Okay, they're totally knocked out and like totally covered in this gas. Thus initiates the best theme music in zombie cinema history. Okay, I have a huge connection with this theme song. I have no idea. If you watch it, let me know what you think. If you think it's a banging soundtrack or not. It was produced under Enigma Records, if I'm not mistaken, made by Francis Haynes. The album or soundtrack is of the same name as the title of the film, so Return of the Living Dead. And if I'm not mistaken, it's called the trioxin theme, and that's the name of the drug or gas that reanimates corpses, the trioxin thing, something like that. The whole soundtrack is nice. I gotta say, the music throughout the film is really good. The sound effects, I don't know why I resonate with this song so much. I think it's because not only does it sound nice, but that it was a great transition into all the events that happen next and continues the story on. So it's just something I wanted to bring up. Let me know if you agree. All right, moving on. So the gas spreads throughout the medical warehouse. It's a horrible mess up, horrible fuck up if you can imagine, and the gas goes through all of the vents and spreads throughout the entire warehouse. So all these medical supplies, cut dogs, cadavers, corpses, skeletons start jumping around, you know, and so all of them are starting to get awake and they can't seem to do nothing about it. They can beat the hell out of this corpse or this cadaver and it will come after them. It'll continuously come after them. No matter what you do, you can stab it, beat it, throw it to the ground. It's just going to get right back up and come at you. So they have no idea what to do. They just do their best to restrain whatever corpses are after them. They go into the office. They figure they can't call the cops or anyone like that, so they call the boss. The boss comes over. He can't do nothing. They can't do nothing, okay? No matter what they try to do, they can't solve the issue, and Bert comes up with the next best thing. He calls his buddy Ernie, who operates the morgue and crematorium right nearby. He says, man, we need a favor. So they go ahead and bring the body over to them. He reluctantly agrees, and they decide to burn up the body and to reduce it to nothing. Not even the heart, the bones. They want it just ashes. Not even ashes, he says. He doesn't want ashes. He turns the furnace up even higher, and we're greeted with a beautiful sequence, a cinematic sequence of the gas rising out of the chimney, mixing with local rain clouds. And then that rain cloud starts to rain down in the area, and of course, I guess, for I don't know, for the sake of brevity or whatnot, I don't know, it makes sense that all these things are next to each other, like the medical hospital is right next to the morgue, and the morgue is right next to the cemetery, and the medical warehouse is right next to that. So we can see that the rain falls down on all of the corpses, on all the boxes, and all the zombies, and the caskets, and all that. But they don't come out until a little bit later in the film, but I think that's insane. Like, it just shows us how big a problem this is becoming, and no matter what they do, they can't solve it. In fact, they seem to make it worse. And, you know, after they try doing this and succeed, because the corpse isn't there anymore, it's nothing but embers, not even ashes, just like embers that they're raking out of the crematorium or whatever you call it. And unfortunately, Freddy and Frank get really, really sick. They can't handle it anymore, and they say we need to call paramedics. Paramedics come over. They do some generalized tests and find out that they're technically dead. They have no pupillary response, no heart rate, no pulse, no reflexes. Their temperature is 70 degrees, around that, so room temperature. They have no idea what's going on and find that they might have been infected with this gas, this trioxin gas, and like brilliantly we see that these paramedics go ahead and try to call more assistants or more paramedics to confirm this. They're totally mind blown about why this is happening, but they're overrun by all the zombies that have awoken in the cemetery and have just like ambushed them. So now they're all dead. The zombies are smart enough to use tools and speak. That might be a little bit different from modern day films where we see zombies are nothing but like grunting animals. These zombies can communicate. They can use tools. They can open doors. They can use hammers and things like that. And that's really scary. They don't have any like fatigue, so they can continuously run after you. I think if that's the quality of a zombie, I'm dead, bro. There's no way I'm running 30 plus miles and not getting tired. Zombies are a very scary, very scary thing to happen to you, bro. Like, how are you gonna outrun a zombie? Like, not only that, humans are built to run long distances and whatnot, so that's just insane. Moving on. So finally, they say they can't solve this problem themselves. There's nothing they can do, and decide to, call the police. And the police themselves get overrun. You can't kill them. They're immune to bullets. If you shoot them, they're still going to run after you. And so the police set up a large multi-man blockade around the town or city, and they get overrun. There's nothing you can do with hundreds to thousands of corpses overrunning you. You could have 1,000 bullets. You can light them up. They're still going to run after you. And once that happens, they realize it's over. All of them realize there's nothing else they can do to solve this problem themselves, even after enlisting the help of the local police. So they finally give up and decide to call the number on the side of the canister where the military is put in on the stenciling on the side of the cam. And, that's when let's see here. It's in the event of a leak, they have a plan. Once they call, a series of pre-planned military actions take place and the area gets nuked. And right after that nuclear strike, of course, all the characters are dead, the film's over. We get a surprise ending twist that I really recommend you guys watch. I'm not going to spoil it here, and that's pretty much what ends the plot summary for that movie. So how does the film stack up? Is it worth your time? I've already said it. Yeah, okay? It's a dope-ass film. You're going to have a great time watching it. You're not going to waste a minute of your life watching it. If you want to have something to put on, watch popcorn with, eat popcorn with, cuddle your girlfriend with or boyfriend, whatever you're doing. It's a good movie, and I enjoy the comedic what do they call it, like a comedic relief sprinkled throughout. I think that's really fun too. And they do it so that it's not annoying. Like every single character has like comedic elements to them so that you're not just hammering in on one annoying character who opens his mouth and says something stupid where you can predict it with certainty. Predictability in film is needed in some cases, but with just a constant nerd or idiot saying something all the time that's supposed to make you laugh, I find that annoying. This film doesn't do that. Every character is entertaining in some way, and moving on. So the film's great. The cinematography is decent, nothing mind-blowing, well-established shots to help put things into perspective. The editing, pacing, special effects, and makeup are what really take the cake in this film. I'm quite impressed, and I'm sure you will be too. Remember, this film was made, I think, in 1985 or 1983. I'm pretty sure 1985. I said it before and I'll say it again, the writing and dialogue between the characters is absolutely hilarious. Not like gut-splitting or whatever, but you'll have a fun time seeing them just yell at each other when they have a common goal of survival, but they're still like kind of like just bickering at one another. To me, this adds a lot of natural flow in the dialogue because you can be scared and angry at the same time, and that's where that bickering kind of comes into play. In terms of any spoilers or specific scenes I want to go over, I do appreciate the beginning where we see the animals in the warehouse begin to reanimate. Like the smaller things start to reanimate before we see larger things like corpses and how the film becomes a problem. You like to see suspense build. You don't want to just be totally thrown into the mix. Not always, but if you want to build any suspense or any thrill, you just have to do that. You just have to have things slowly build up to that. I do love the progression of chaos that ensues even when they try to fix the problems themselves. It's kind of like you can't really put the toothpaste back in the tube. I enjoy the banter, as I keep repeating. It's awesome, especially the scene between Freddy and Frank, between Spider and Bert near the end of the film. I think that's funny because they have to leave their friends temporarily, and Spider has heroism kind of shine through. He's like, dude, fuck you, I'm not leaving my friends, dude, we need to go right back. That's so cool, dude, right? Like you're surrounded by thousands of zombies and you still want to go back for your friends. Obviously a lot of people might have that in the comments and probably dude, I would totally do that, whatever. I don't know, man, that's really freaking scary, and what they had to run through in order to escape was scary enough. So I like that banter between them. Be sure to check it out. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe for any more reviews. I do appreciate you guys watching. You're the best. Take care and have a good day. I'll see you in the next one.